Hey guys, it's the Mentos here from Lexus. Sorry about this video being very unprofessional in terms of the viewing experience. It's going to be a ranty one, but unfortunately I do not have anything to show because this one is not going to be talking about the current upgrade that I did, but rather talking about the situation that I had previously experienced with the GX460. The day it came to my garage when I bought it used, 2017 model, base model with 100 Ks on it, miles. And when it arrived, yes, it had some rather bigger issues, like it was damaged because it had a rear-ended situation when some other vehicle rear-ended it. I had to change the rear bumper and the barn door, nothing else. And also it had a damaged frame rail as well, which had to be fixed. Other than that, the only issue that I noticed and really was bugging me out was the lean it had. It was leaning on the passenger side, and when I noticed it, didn't really came up to my mind to just measure it properly, because at that point I was not really that well into the vehicles and how they work and how you can do with them. For me, they still were these magic machines that take you anywhere you want, well, if the road is there. I told my brother about this issue, who helped me to acquire the vehicle. He said, nah, forget about it. He said it in that tone, basically. Well, because it was not his vehicle and it wasn't a big deal for him. But he actually said it wasn't really apparent for him. He could not see this difference. But I actually did see it, and went and just measured it. And the change was apparent: 2.5 centimeters on the front and 3.5 or something from the rear. I believe the difference is because the rear side sits higher, so the vehicle's body panel is further away from the tire. As this vehicle has this, I forgot what it's called, rake, I believe, where this GXs for some reason are lower in front than the rear. And some people go and buy spacers to lift the front side up in order to give this more horizontal view, better view in my opinion as well. But I think this rake is there because it helps in the situation of towing stuff. But because of that, and because of the fact that the distance between the body panel and the ground is larger on the back than the front, the difference in terms of leans was exaggerated from the back. So basically it was showing me these numbers: 2.5 in the front and 3.5 on the rear. It was leaning on the right side. The first thing that came up in my mind was that there was some issue from the right side. Maybe the coil was damaged, maybe a strut was stuck or something like that. Something was pulling the vehicle down, I thought. It turned out that the issue was the left side, more specifically driver's side coil. And actually I found a Lexus bulletin previously. Don't know if it is available now as well, where it was written that you had to change this driver's side coil, and there was the part number as well. I went and did it, and it fixed my vehicle. So what I did was I had a mechanic to do this, because as you know, the front suspension, in the front suspension, the coil is basically encompassing the strut. So in order to change the coil only, you cannot simply do the same job with the rear, when you just disconnect the strut and disconnect the sway bar, and then if you push down um, on the wheel, you just can pop out the coil. You can't do that on the front suspension. You have to do this. You have to have this mechanical thing that pushes the coil and allows you to remove the strut. I do not have that, So I had the mechanic to do it, and they removed the shock, changed the coil, put them back in, and out my vehicle is now completely leveled. It has been like that for months, and only now when I was rummaging through my items on my parking spot in my apartment, I accidentally bumped this old coil. It just rolled out, and I got this idea to give you the video to you. And yeah, I do believe that it's a good idea to share this information, because unfortunately the local mechanic also said that many vehicles that he saw also had this issue, and he didn't know the solution. It was actually me who offered the solution to change the coil. I came to him with this coil. I had already called to the local fancy I won't call the name of the company, but there is one fancy one which unfortunately had the change of policy, or maybe it was there all the time, I don't know. But the change of policy is the fact that you are not allowed, I mean they are not allowed to serve you unless you purchase all the details that they are supposed to install in your vehicle locally on their via their sources. So actually I was in a rush and decided to purchase the coil by myself, because they said that it would have arrived in 40 days. Actually it arrived in 20, but due to this fact I wasn't able to find the mechanic, and I was afraid to take it to non-fancy garages. It was my new GX, so actually I really regretted the fact that I didn't bought these guys from them. Yeah, so again, going back to the issue, the mechanic says that many Prados, because in Georgia Prado is more popular, do experience this issue. And of course on the internet you might see videos where people say, yeah, if you experience KDSS lean, you can always use the spacer. Why use spacer if it is the issue that is connected to the factory spring that for some reason Lexus messed up big time, and looks like that they use different compound, different metals in their coils. Maybe the left side was procured from different batch, I don't know. And looks like they are the same length. It's not like they are different. They are the same length. You cannot really distinguish them from each other. But looks like that it is the stiffness. The compound of this steel is somehow different, and maybe heat treatment is a problem. I have no idea, but looks like that the original one which was installed on this vehicle was stiffer, or maybe it goes stiffer and doesn't deform that much or whatever on time or something like that. And if you change it to the new version, this left and right match, and you're good to go. If you do not want to change it, you simply get another set of coils from even some other brands. If they are the same, that you won't experience the lean issue. I wasn't really a big fan of adding the spacer, because I am a big opponent of having different setups on left and right side of the suspension. Like rear and front is fine. Like you can add spacers on the front in order to lift the front side up. Do not add anything back, that's fine. But if you are changing one side left or right, doesn't sit well for me. Maybe it's non-issue, maybe it's non-factor, I don't know, but I really do not find it a good idea to mess with the balance of the suspension that way. So I was really happy when I found out that the issue was this factory trick that I had to do. But of course, if I wasn't able to do it, maybe my next step would have been this spacer for myself as well. Actually, to be honest, I also saw some other solutions offered on the internet. This is called KDSS lean for some reason. The problem that my bulletin was mentioning, but I don't think it has anything to do with KDSS, because as I already mentioned, the thing had to do with the coil and its stiffness. But there are other videos that mention these KDSS leans, and they are talking about the fact that if you're doing a brake job and if somebody lifts one on another side of your vehicle, they turn on, they mess up whilst using the KDSS, these two valves that you need to turn, like loosen up a little in order to make the whole suspension to articulate better, in order to work with them easier. So if they mess up and they tighten them on the wrong stance when the vehicle is not leveled or something like that, it can remember the stiffness differently. And when the vehicle is on the ground and all done and ready to go, then you find this lean issue. So they had these weird solutions where you have to run on the board or some sort whilst having the KDSS valves opened. Then once your vehicle is on this block of some sort, which pushes the vehicle either left or right depending on which side your lane is, KDSS lane, because in the KDSS lanes case, the lane can be either way. But for my issue, it was the passenger side. So yeah, of course you have to remember that if your GX-460 leans on the driver's side, then most likely the solution is completely different. All right, so and then close those valves, and when you remove this block and you make the vehicle stand on the solid ground, it will have this level look. Actually, that was unfortunately the first thing that came up into my attention. I have been doing several times this trick. Got some boards, make the vehicle go up these boards, push the vehicle up with the jack in order to replicate the issue, and I wasn't really able to solve it. So that's why I kept digging and stumbled upon this bulletin and was able to solve this problem. So yeah, if you have GX460, if your vehicle leans on the right side, if the leans measurement is more than 1 inch, then most likely, and if your suspension parts are OEM, thus they haven't been changed, most likely it's due to that issue of the left side spring being more stiff than the actual sides has to be. So try it out. Maybe ask your local dealership to swap out this old one with a new version if they have them, new parts, and see it by yourself. If it solves the issue, then you are good to go. If it doesn't, then well, only every time you have this last resort, which is the spacer, or even before that, I believe, just to leave it alone. But I think that suspension and the leanness thing, it's a significant part. I don't think that you shouldn't address this thing that distorts the balance of the vehicle suspension. And of course, the Thanos would really enjoy, or I should say would not really enjoy, driving GX460 that wasn't balanced. That was all for this video. Thanks for watching. Hope it helped somehow, some way, and see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.